I'm too good to you guys. All right, let's load. South China Sea, load. And the autosave should work. Let's cross our fingers. It's not corrupt. Yes. Oh, shit. We have a new sonar contact. Bring 311. All right, we're at periscope depth. Let's see. But what do we have in the room? Oh, no. Okay. It's probably a surface ship, so we're going to want to harpoon it. Let's go.
On sonar. Brig ship for ultra quiet.
Ultra quiet. There we go. That's all I need, baby. Just give me a bearing.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 1.
Oh no, which one is it? Okay,
Upscope.
311. 311.
Con sonar, master 1 is downscope.
Kill him.
Aye, sir. Con sonar, new contact. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Time to go. You missed the staying alive, yeah. Yeah, no more bread. Yeah, I know. I'm not allowed to have fun anymore.
Lost contact. Master 1. Last bearing 30.
Doc said I'm too fat. I was like, how dare you?
Con sonar, lost
How dare you fat shame me, doctor?
300 feet.
It was like, it's my job to fat shame you. He's like, I'm the only guy who can do that to you. Okay.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
He's not wrong.
Passing 600 feet.
What can I do?
Passing
Yay, we blew something up. Big explosions. Dead ships.
Passing 900
That's how we
feet.
roll around here.
Passing 1,000 feet.
All right, now there was this unlucky chucklehead to my south. Let's see what he is.
Passing 1,200 feet.
Oh, there's somebody still going active over there.
Passing 1,300 feet.
Okay.
Make turns for 1-5.
Let's do this. Let's turn to the south. I bet you CR3 is another warship. They run in pairs. No contact. Okay. You pay a doctor to fat shame me? I know, right? What the hell? Yeah, they... Oh, man, I don't want to get into it. I'm on this new drug that I don't take. So don't tell them. So here's the deal.
Maneuvering, making turns for
They want me to take this drug
10
that
knots.
is supposed to help me deal with things. But it changes my personality and I don't like it. So I'm not taking it. Which means I'm crazy. If I take the drug, I'm less crazy. So I need to make a decision. Like, do I not take the drug on days that I stream so that I'm normal? Or do I take the drug like I'm supposed to every day and stream anyway? And I'm going to be a lot more lethargic, you know? That's the way it feels anyway. I feel lethargic when I take this drug. I don't like it. Man. That's okay. Weed? I'm not going to come on the stream high as a kite. That's fucking hilarious. Oh, no. It is legal where I live, but I'm not doing that. Yeah. Whatever makes you feel best. Yeah, that's the thing is I kind of need to take it for my own mental health. And more so for those around me than myself. Like, I think I'm fine, but apparently I'm not. And that's the problem with mental health is the person who's sick doesn't see themselves as being sick. A great example of this to an extreme is Kanye West, who changed his name to Yeezy, which sounds like a bread product. That makes me hungry. He should start a bread line. That'd be great. Anyway, he clearly has issues too, right? On a whole nother scale, much higher. I got issues now. I got a helicopter overhead. Anywho, I don't know what drugs he's supposed to be taking, but the reason why he does not take his drugs is he says he doesn't like the way it makes him feel. And I kind of understand that now, having been diagnosed and have a drug that does the same thing to me. So we'll see how it goes. Yep. The most important thing is they're probably not going to renew my clearance because I'm on this now. They can't safely do it. So it means I'm out of a job. Yep. Military contract is going to come to an end if I lose my clearance. There's no reason to hire me. Depends on my drinking schedule. I'm not drinking on stream anymore, ever. I haven't done that in years. There was a time in 2000, I think it was 18, I was just drinking on stream and I ended up getting drunk, which that's not me at all. But I was, oof. I went back and I watched the replay of that. I was like, ugh, slurring my words. Yeah. And that was like, I think the last time I did it too. I was like, oh, that's not good. Is there something along the lines of possibility of a weapon that could get stuck in a tube being live? Yeah, it would be. It is very dangerous, Alice. It's called a hang fire.
Contact on Sierra.
There's a whole procedure to clear that. And it's not fun. Imagine if that happened to a ballistic missile. Drunk drive was fun. I probably was fun, but when I saw the replay of me drinking and slurring my words towards the end of that stream, I was like, I'm not doing that again. That was really embarrassing. Something I think everyone should do is don't stream, but record yourself doing stuff. Set up a camera in your living room, and then go back and watch yourself, and you'll see how some habits look ridiculous. You know, do a self-critique. Then never publish it on social media. Keep it for yourself, and then delete it forever. And I think that's a great way to self-improve. Are they trying to get me?
Rig shift for ultra.
They're trying to get me. Stay away from me, helicopter. There's an airplane up there now, too. Hey, good morning, Army vet. Welcome aboard. You came in at just the right time. We were talking about drinking on stream. I did that a couple years ago for those of you that have been around. You've been around that long.
Con sonar regained contact on.
Is that a torpedo?
2, bearing 177. I'm
hearing things now. So what we're doing now is we're letting the CR3 get a little bit closer to us. Matter of fact, I'm broadside his active sonar. I don't like that. So I'm going to take his bearing and add 60 to it. Or subtract. So we'll say 310 minus 60 is what? 3250? Is that right? Am I doing that wrong? Oh. Well, that's really broad. Let's make it a little more narrow than that.
Come right to.
Yeah, we'll say 270.
270. Helm I.
Boom, boom, boom. Is the long and short of it that society is mostly being driven by a bunch of malign narcissists? Yeah. Yeah, if you look at the world leaders, and I include everybody on this, I don't care what country you're from, they all share one thing in common, and that's they like to be seen and heard. And I believe that helicopter has maybe found us. I'm trying to turn away from it right now. Oh, I need to move myself. Shit. Sorry. Here I am. Am I too big in the picture? I look fucking huge. Holy cow. So, I've been working out.
Con sonar.
Fucking torpedo.
Torpedo in the water. Torpedo
Leave me alone.
In the water. Bearing 108.
Oh, where's that? Coming right down on us.
Passing 1,300 feet.
Coming right down on us.
Passing 1,200 feet.
1,200 feet.
Passing 1,100 feet. Con sonar lost con. Passing 1,000 feet. Passing 900 feet. Passing 800 feet. Passing 700 feet.
No, they shot again.
Passing 600 feet. Passing 500 feet.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
No.
Passing 400 feet.
We don't want to do that.
Passing 400 feet.
There we go.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
All right, we're going to sit right here at about 460 feet. Oh, yeah. Go get us a warship. I am built. Yeah. I've always been a wide frame person. I was really skinny in high school, but then I joined the Navy and I wanted to lift weights. I tried to get on the Navy's weightlifting team, which is like special orders, you know, that you can get for a year or two and then you go back to your command. But my Achilles heel was I was on submarines and they wouldn't let me go. I certainly qualified for it. I wasn't like the best or anything like that, but I qualified to be on the team. But I couldn't get orders to it because I had submarine dolphins. And they're like, we need more submariners than we need weightlifters, dude.
3, 5 knots.
And to be fair, I wasn't like the best or the biggest. Like all the other guys are much bigger, much more ripped than I was. I look small compared to them. Yeah. The biggest regret that I have post-Navy is I stopped working out entirely, not just lifting weights. I didn't even do cardio for like 10 years, over 10 years. So now I'm back on the train. I'm doing all that now. I do cardio every single day. I don't take a day off of that. And it's just it's a burden trying to get back into shape at my age.
Make turns
It's basically going to be this the rest of my life is what I think it is. I kind of think of it now. Every minute I put in at the gym, especially on the elliptical, is like an extra week of life. You know, I'm exercising to survive at this point.
Con sonar regained contact.
Am I in a calorie
carrying
deficit?
3,
I feel
1,
like I am because I'm not allowed to eat anything anymore. I basically eat chicken breast, and occasionally I always season the chicken breast with something like a Cajun powder, breading. You know, I don't actually use breading because I'm not allowed to have bread anymore, but I use Cajun seasoning on my chicken breast. All right, so we do have this. I'll tell you what. Let's come off his course.
Come left 2.
We're going to shoot a torpedo at this chucklehead.
Helm I.
I don't know how close he is. Not eating is just as bad as overeating. Wait, listen, dude. I'm just doing what my doctor tells me at this point, okay? I'm not taking advice from nobody. No, not offending you or anything, but even my family is like, hey, do what I do. And it works for them. I have a lot of family members that have lost a lot of weight, and whereas I have not. I'm very behind the curve when compared to my family members, which is why they're trying to help me. But I'm literally doing everything my doctor says, except take that pill. That's a different doctor. That's a psychiatrist. So technically, I'm still doing everything my medical doctor says. All right, we're going to shoot this torpedo at that chucklehead coming at us. We're going to see what happens. I wonder if we leave it in passive. We might avoid being counterfired right away if we put it in passive homing. Hermes says, I just bought the game today. How realistic would you say the game is? Not realistic at all. It's just fun. Yep. Unless you're a carnivore trying to eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. Oh, I have a... there's a thing about that. In my body, one thing we figured out is it takes me 45 minutes after I'm full for my brain to realize I'm full. And that's a medical condition. I forget the name of it. And I have it. So I can't use that strategy because I'll overeat for 45 minutes. I don't even eat for 45 minutes, but it's going to be 45 minutes before I realize I'm full. Oh, crap. That's really bad. What the...
Torpedo room, tube 7 ready.
Okay. That's really close.
Make turns for 3.
What is going on? Oh, crap.
Maneuvering eye.
We have something right on top of
Con
us.
sonar lost contact.
Okay, I think they found us.
Last bearing 166. Contact faded.
Please don't disappear from the model. Okay, good. Right for rudder.
Passing 500 feet.
Con fire control. We've lost the wire.
That was a really good shot. I don't know if that was the ship. It might have been the ship.
Passing 600 feet.
I thought we were undetected. We were not.
Passing 700 feet. Passing 800 feet. Passing 900 feet.
Come on, baby.
Passing
Go
1100
deep.
feet. Passing 1200 feet.
Go deep.
Passing 1300 feet. Passing 1400 feet. Passing 1500 feet.
Okay, we're good.
Passing 1600 feet. Passing 1700 feet.
Ba-ba-ba-da-da. Yeah, the torpedo is going to miss, it looks like. We are going to need another decoy. Sugar and high fructose corn syrup will block the signal to your brain. Oh, really?
Noisemaker bearing.
I did not know that.
2, 3.
Oh, I think that we spotted him. I think the torpedo saw him. It's doing a target verification maneuver right there. That's very much a 1980s thing. This is not. It's not realistic at all.
Maneuvering.
But I digress.
Turns 4, 3, 5.
I'm not allowed to talk about shit anymore.
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing. 3, 2, 1.
Love this music. Very good stuff. Imagine being blown up by a torpedo from a guy who called you a chucklehead. I know. Yep.
Con, torpedo room, 2-1 ready.
What is this? Loomy Ghost says there's a difference between mechanical destruction of nuclear level destruction, even if only H-bombs are used, radiation minimized. It would be devastating on a level not previously seen. It's all speculative. I think we can agree that it's a scenario that we don't want to see. I think I could agree that I don't want to see nuclear war on any
Sonar.
level.
Noisemaker bearing.
Sounds
3,
like a reasonable
0,
statement to
9.
me. We're going to run like this for a little while, so let's watch our torpedo. We don't have context, so we don't have the 3D model. We can watch the torpedo do its thing. Anywho, yeah, so we have lots of YouTube videos in the can,
Con sonar.
ready to go. So you guys will be.
0, 3,
We're putting YouTube
bearing,
videos
3,
up on
0,
both channels
2.
now,
Contact breaking up.
several times a week for the month of November.
Con, torpedo room, 2
So definitely subscribe to both. If you enjoy the video games like this, that's on the Only Subs channel. And then everybody knows the Sub Brief channel, which is the more fact-based stuff. The more real stuff. All right, he's still dodging that torpedo. Let's slow down and watch the fight.
Make turns 4, 5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
And I'm going to make my depth 550.
Make depth 550 feet. Dive high.
Yeah, Flack, we were talking about that during the news segment of the stream. We keep announcing the location of our ballistic missile submarine port visits, and my speculation is just to remind leaders around the world that we have these amazingly destructive machines, you know, that we don't talk about. And I certainly will never talk about, you know, in detail anyway. Certainly not like their port visits. So it is really unprecedented to make those announcements, even though they've done them twice now this year. I think the first one might have been SSGN Florida, I think was the first one. Technically not a ballistic missile submarine, but Rhode Island certainly is. Yeah. 2 times, yeah. I don't know what the Navy's deal is with that. You know, why are we doing that? We spend a lot of time and effort hiding those. Why would we ever disclose that they're even at sea, much less where they're at? Like in the Kings Bay Naval Base and what's the other one? The one over in Washington, Seattle, Bremerton. We have these big barns that we hide our ballistic missile submarines in because you never know when one's in there and when one's not. You know? from satellite view, right? Hey, we did it. The torpedo finally hit him. All right, all we gotta do is ditch this aircraft. So let's level out right here. And the best way to ditch aircraft, I got this question on YouTube comments, is how do you dodge aircraft in this game? They're so annoying. They keep following you and dropping depth charges. Honestly, what I've found is to pick one direction and just go flank bell. You will eventually outrun them. Not saying it's realistic, it's just what works in the video game. Signaling a med cruiser on its way home. Yeah, I don't know. I know with the ballistic missiles we have, we don't need to be in the med. We can hit almost anything on the planet from anywhere else on the planet, right? So it's definitely, it's an intentional disclosure of the location of one of our ballistic missile submarines to send a message. I just don't know to who or why, right? I don't know. I'll tell you this. If I was in charge of the Navy, I would not be doing that. I think it's a mistake. But the way that our system works is the military, even the top chief of naval operations, is not the top guy. He, in the end, is an advisor to the executive branch. And that group of people makes the decisions. It's a burden upon the president to make the decision and announce it and take responsibility for it. But below him, or beside him, if you want to call it that, is this cabinet of about 20 to 30 people. Everything from interior decision makers to, space, stuff. And then, of course, there's the military side. And they have Defense Secretary, I think his name is it Austin? Big guy. He's a civilian, but he advises the president on things, all things military. We also have Secretary of State, which is like the foreign diplomacy lead person. And he could definitely be involved in a decision like that. But if I was Chief of Naval Operations advising those people that advise the president, I'd be like, don't do this. It's a mistake. And maybe that happened. So don't go jumping on Chief of Naval Operations for fucking up. He might have done the right thing. Because in the end, we are a civilian-led military. That's part of our, founding? I don't know what you want to call it. It's in the Constitution, isn't it? That no military will be the president. However, he is the executive of the military. He's a civilian that's in charge of the military. What's it called? There's a word for that. Cino does enough things to yell at him for. That's true. Yeah, I've criticized Chief Naval Operations a lot in the past. I'm to the point where I'm starting to feel bad. So I've been trying lately to kind of highlight some of the things he gets right, because he seems like a genuinely nice person, and I don't want to just beat up on him constantly because of his position, right? By the way, I have not met him, but just from the public relations side of his, because he has aides that help him with public relations, and they post things on official Twitter channels and things like that. And he seems like a really good dude that's in this position that's difficult to make difficult decisions. It's why he's there. And he gets some things wrong. I'll be honest with you, he certainly does. But in the end, I'm just some Yahoo in Michigan, and he's the Chief of Naval Operations. So yeah, he doesn't necessarily care what I think. Oh man, I'm not the Chief of Naval Operations. I ain't gotta talk to those aides. I met a couple of admiral aides during my time in the Navy, and it's funny how there's such a wide variety. You've got the go-getter young lieutenant that will bend over backwards for the admiral and be absolutely rude to everybody else outside earshot of the admiral, because he doesn't want to appear to be rude to the admiral. And then there's the other ones that are just really cool and laid back. They're like, hey, Admiral, here's your coffee. They literally hand him his coffee, his towels. It's like a personal assistant these higher ups have. And some of them that are the assistants are really good people. And basically they're launching their career into the stratosphere after they're done with this liaison job or aide job, whatever you call it. It's an aide. As an admiral aide, they're going to get, at the end of that, if it's 1 or 2 years, a letter of recommendation from the Chief of Naval Operations, and probably their choice of billet anywhere that they want to go that they're qualified for. Yeah. So it's a great boost to just be an aide of an admiral for one stint, however long that stint is. And then, next thing you know, you're an XO of a destroyer, and then you're the CO of a, cruiser. I understand why they do it. It's really worth it. My personality, especially when I was in my 20s, which is what a lot of these young lieutenants are, I could not have done that. I was too much of a bullhead. I'd say the wrong things and then not regret it. Oh, God. Yeah, I would have been a terrible aide. I'm not getting your damn coffee, Admiral. Okay. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I would have said. Yep.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 244, designated Sierra 1.
Oh, wow. You guys have been writing books in chat. What's going on here? Please keep your stuff to one sentence. I'm dyslexic. Okay, Kep says, I think disclosing a single port of visit, definitely a message. It isn't going to have a major impact. I don't think any adversaries would remotely care to sneak up. See, so the threat, the vulnerability of disclosing that you're in Gibraltar isn't from Russia or China. It's from Libya. It's from Iran. It's from these asymmetrical warfare countries that will blindly send people on suicide missions just to damage a ballistic missile submarine, not necessarily steal anything. I'm thinking of like USS Cole situation where they suicide drone or a manned, boat in the vicinity of Gibraltar and explode it. Let's say they don't even get into the harbor. Any attack would sensationalize their cause, which is their purpose. So in terms of vulnerability of disclosing the location of a nuclear submarine for a short port visit, I think it was only a couple days, isn't from major actors, because you're absolutely right. No one's going to nuke Gibraltar with a nuclear weapon to take out one of our ballistic missile submarines, okay? Yeah, that's just not going to happen. But Iran and Libya, Syria, those countries would love to just get close to a successful attack. I say the wrong things, but I regret it. Now that's true. Yeah, I've grown a conscience. Yeah. How we doing on contacts? We got 4 of these bad boys. Oh no, they have us surrounded. The poor bastards. Let's start with Sierra 2. Okay, no, Sierra 1. Sierra 1's right here. Is it a submarine? Who knows? Let's find out what it is. Kind of looks like a merchant to me, but I've only been playing this game for 5 years. I have no idea what a merchant looks like. You think I would know by now. Oh, it's a trawler. Right there. Boink.
Con sonar, Sierra 1.
Let's go to the next target.
Classified as merchant.
Definitely not a trawler. Oh, it's a Han.
Con sonar, Sierra 2.
Okay, so we're going to put on a right 10-degree rudder. What's our depth? He's very close to us. I'm going to turn away from him. He just sped up. If he goes active, we shoot him. I wonder if he heard our rudder. We turned the rudder ever so slightly to the right, and he might have heard that. What's our LE? 86, yeah. He might have. I bet it's Sony MDRs or David Clark's. Oh, yeah, we started out with David Clark's 1990. Well, I wasn't on board the submarine until 91. But we used David Clark's, which is absolutely the worst headphone in the world for anything that has frequencies outside the human voice. David Clark's are used by pilots, like helicopter pilots and whatnot, because they are frequencies centered around the human voice. But they were also standard military issue across all services. I'm sure David Clark made $1 bazillion off that. Well, they also issued the same ones to us as sonarmen, and the only thing we could hear was like, maybe 200 hertz to 2,000 hertz, clearly, And the sonar system goes way above that, obviously. And human hearing goes above that a little bit. But the voice that we talk in, with some exceptions of high pitch and low pitch, is in that realm, right? Relatively very low frequency compared to what we can hear. So it was the worst headphone for sonarmen. And we finally, after, it was 1994 or 5, we finally convinced just our local command that the frequency response of the Sony MDR, because it had the stats on the back of the packaging, were incredibly good for sonarmen. And so with our own money, because each ship has its own lot of money for the year, and we went to the CHOP and we went to the XO and the WEPs, and we were like, we want to use our own money to buy something like 8 sets of headphones. These were $100 headphones, hundreds of dollars. So it was a big chunk of our budget, which wasn't very much, that we can spend on the crew, right? And we were like, we want to use this crew money to buy headphones for the sonar division. And it was like against regulation, because the regulation hadn't changed yet. But man, that was a huge benefit. We had to solder our own adapters, because the adapter that plugged into the David Clark was custom made for the CDC, the control display console that we were using. It was this weird, I don't know, it was round and it had some connections to it, some for audio, some for data. It was weird. But that's how they kept that contract, David Clark, because it was all proprietary. Well, we said screw that. We made donkey tails, dongles we called them. Yeah, where we snipped the end of the cable and hand soldered a 3 1/4 inch, what's it called? A 3/4 inch rather, not 3 1/4, a 3/4 inch audio headset, male into a female, and soldered it to the audio connections, and it worked like a charm. Problem is, those damn dongles that we made ourselves, after so many months, would break, so we had to make lots. And we always had a pile that needed to be repaired, and a pile in ready reserve. And as long as we had the dongles working, we were allowed to use the better headphones. So that is one example of like sailors being ahead of the curve, going, we need to change this rule. Let us use MDR headphones, these Sony headphones, because they're much better. And eventually that became policy. Now, we were not the crew that did that. It was a groundswell of all submarine sonarmen, pushing this up the chains, and it made a difference. And now it's like standard issue. Yeah, I was part of that. Is it 3 1/4 inch audio plug? I don't know. I don't think I'm saying it right. It's the big one though. It's not the little tiny millimeter one. It's the big fat one. Oh, he's turning against us. Oh, this is so good. Steady she goes. This is dumb. Damn it. What am I doing? Back to the other course quickly.
Come left 2.
How deep are we?
2,
600.
2.
Speed up.
Make turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering aye.
We're not in his baffles anymore, are we? He's gonna probably hear us.
Con maneuvering.
What's he
Making
doing?
turns
I thought he was gonna
for
steady on course. If he keeps that turn up, we're
15
screwed.
knots.
Yeah, let's steady she goes right now. We got to get some range out for him. Is it an 1/8 inch, Jack? Is that what it's called? I just know it's big. Vulcan Rider says, went on vacation last week. It's Eastern Shore of Virginia. Is there a Western Shore of Virginia? Saw the Teddy Roosevelt on the way home.
Sonar lost contact.
Oh yeah, she's big,
0,
isn't she?
2, last
A big
bearing,
old girl.
0, 6, 3, contact faded.
So yeah, the 1/4 inch adapter, that's the one that we used. Yeah. And to my command's credit, they did not have to authorize that. They had every documented thing, regulation in the Navy saying don't do that. But it was the sonarman and the sonar chief. I was a lowly sonarman in 1984, second class, I think. And they took our advice, And it wasn't, I found out later, it wasn't just our division. It was, I think it started honestly in the goat locker. I think it started with sonar chiefs.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra.
We're getting
bearing,
together
2,
at like the
6,
Chiefs Club or
7,
whatever,
contact
and then
faded.
saying, hey, this is a good idea. We need to push this. And it was pushed from like the goat locker up, which is a great example of why the goat locker is essential to a good Navy. I make a lot of fun of former chiefs and stuff that I worked with, but I do a lot of that tongue in cheek, for most of them. Hey, Baydox, thanks for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Spectre 907, appreciate it. He says, centered around human voice, optimized for hunting, singing Soviets. Yeah. I think it was just pure bureaucratic laziness, saying this one headphone fits all purposes. Yeah. I was talking to a surface sonarman who's in active duty right now. And he was telling me that they don't even get trained on listening to contacts anymore. Like, they're required to wear the headphones, but that's more to listen for the return of an active transmission ping than listening for anything else.
1, I search.
And that's really sad because there's an art to it. You know what I'm saying? Sonar is 80% science, so anybody can be a sonarman and be 80% good.
Sonar regained
But to be in the top
contact
20% of sonarmen, you have to have some level of talent.
4, 5.
And part of that talent is in listening to things and inherently recognizing them as what they are without having the computer tell you. So that's the counterfire right there. We'll see how this works out for us. We kept the wire miraculously. Yeah, he's definitely evading. Anyway, thanks for all the new subs, everybody. Lots of new people here. Love to see it. So yeah, today's schedule, we're just going to do some cold waters here for a little while longer. Oh, wow. Time's getting away from me. Yeah, and then we're going to do some... I'm either going to take a lunch or we're going to do... what's it called? Master of Orion. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I've been playing a lot of Master of Orion lately. Pretty fun game. Purely a defensive measure against Twitch's ad. I know, yeah. I honestly, I don't mind talking about it. I know some streamers don't want to talk about ads, but I'll tell you, the Twitch ads are off the chain and they're getting worse.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
If you think the Twitch ads are worse, they are. Like, in terms of number of intrusive ads, yeah. You are 100% right.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 028.
Any chance of finishing the MMO match today? Oh, the Master of Orion is finished. It's up on YouTube already, dude. We finished the Meklar.
Weapon acquired.
So today we're going to do a whole new species.
Fire control, weapon countermeasure.
Yeah, you got to go over to Only Subs on YouTube channel. It's all up there. It's called. It was only 2 episodes. It was Meklar 1 and Meklar 2.
Control, weapon acquired.
And each one was
Fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
4 hours long. I think one might have been 2 hours long. Yeah. So today we're going to do a different one. Here's kind of my plan with Master of Orion.
Control, weapon acquired.
Is I want to go through every species
Fire control,
and get a
weapon
win.
Countermeasure homing.
And that's going to take us months because there's a lot of replayability.
024.
Our freaking torpedo's dumb. This Han is just running in a circle and our torpedo can't find
Fire
it.
control, weapon acquired.
This might be the most brilliant evasion I've
Fire
ever seen.
control, weapon countermeasure homing.
All right, let's do this. He's just doing a circle. He's not evading. He's not doing anything else. I'm going to slow down so we can keep his graphic on.
5 knots. Maneuvering on.
Do you think that the drone the Ukraine used was a jet ski that they had modified? Oh, no. It's a it's a custom build. Whether or not it has a jet ski motor is up for debate. It might. It might have a Ski-Doo jet ski style motor. But it's literally a custom build. So I don't know. At what point does that become a jet ski? I don't.
Contact on Sierra 1 bearing 279.
Hey, we finally got him.
Maneuvering.
Running in circles only lasts for so long, buddy. There's us in the background there. Yeah, you're right. The amount of ads Twitch is pushing now is more than you see in an NFL football game. And that's saying something. Because I was watching some football this weekend, and it was like ad after ad. I was like, I'll just watch the sidelines between plays. Stop with all the ads. But they got to make that money. NFL, man. NFL might be one of the greediest organizations ever. I mean, they have a great product. I love NFL football, don't get me wrong. But holy smokes, dude. If they have so much as a 30-second break, they will throw in a 30-second ad if they can.
88. Tell them I
It's ridiculous.
Make turns for 1,
So
5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
let's just say that at least they're not NFL bad, or no, they are. We just said they're worse. Okay, so they're worse than the NFL.
Con maneuvering. Making turns for 1, 5 knots.
That's the sport where they throw the ball. Yeah, the football. Yeah. I think the running game is making a comeback, but for years it's been a passing game, and that's because of the rules. Like, you can't even touch the quarterback anymore, it seems, which is why the passing game is so.
Con
If
L.
the referees are doing a better job defending the quarterback than the offensive line is, you might as well have a running game or a passing game plan. Yeah. But how about those Detroit Lions absolutely choking? Absolutely choking. They had this huge lead. It was like a 14-point lead in the very beginning of the game. They scored right away. And I was like, okay, looks like Detroit Lions might be winning a game because they haven't won one in a while. Nope. I forget who they were playing. I was in awe. I was like, holy cow, how are you throwing away a 21-point lead? And they did. Oh, it was bad. And do you know what sucks about Detroit Lions is I really want them to have a winning season. They haven't had a winning season since, I guess, Barry Sanders was around, which has been decades. And if any team deserves some good fortune, it's them. And I thought they had finally put it together. They have a really good coach. Well, the whole staff is good, but the head coach is really good. And it fell apart. You know, and I don't know enough about football to say what happened, why it fell apart. From an amateur point of view, watching the game, it looked like they got tired, which means they're not physically fit. They're really big guys, strong, but they just ran out of gas. You know, that's what it looked like to me, but it might be way more complicated than that, because I know football strategy and all that can get really deep, because the way you adjust to the game is also a big thing. I don't know anything about this, but what I'm told by people that do know about this is that in the first quarter, the first part of the game, the offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators are seeing what the other team is doing as a scheme, and then they change their scheme, especially at the halfway point, what they call it, halftime, and they come out in the third and fourth quarter with brand new plans. Well, that is what appears to have happened to the Detroit Lions, because the first half of the game, especially the first quarter, they were running the score up. They were doing good. And then their opponent, who I honestly don't remember, if somebody knows, put it in their chat, came out in the second quarter and was already starting to score points against them. And then they came out in the second half and just ran the score up on Detroit. You know, they had definitely made adjustments, and it appeared that the Detroit Lion players got tired. They just stopped pushing as hard because they couldn't. You know, it was like a physical limitation. So we'll see. We'll see what you guys think. I wish I knew more about football coaching, but I honestly don't know anything about that stuff.
Con sonar new contact.
Rig shift for ultra quiet.
It would be hilarious if I started like a football podcast and knew nothing about football and just talked like I did. Talked absolute nonsense. Anybody who knows anything about sports would be like, this guy's a moron. I wonder how successful that would be. Like, I'd sell myself as an expert. I'd be like, yeah, they should have done this. People would be like,
Con sonar new contact bearing 2.
Don't do that.
5 designated Sierra 4.
that might be fun. I wish I had time to do all these ideas that I come up with. I don't. Holy cow, John's here. How's it going? John, the absolute legend. 35 months. Holy shit. Long time. John, I know you resubscribed for like 6 months or something stupid. Whenever your subscription runs out, you have to let me know so I can re-up it, because I'm paying for all this, what are you guys called? Moderators. Anyway, unfortunately, I think you had just re-subbed for like 6 months right before I had the ability to do that. But anyway, so I got some sponsors now on YouTube, which is nice. And I can use that sponsor money to pay for my moderator subscriptions, like every other channel does. I was like one of the only channels that didn't do that because I'm broke and poor. But I'm fixing that. Not broke and poor anymore. We got somebody really close. Sierra 1 is kind of terrifying. Let's poke the lens up and see where he is. So he's a 2. So we're looking at 270. Let's put the camera on 270. And then we're going to put the scope up for just a second. Just to make sure it's not a warship. Oh, crap. What the hell is that? Okay. Uh-oh. There's no surface ship there. Okay, this might be a sub. Oh.
Con sonar, Sierra
This
1
sucks.
is classified as submerged.
It's an
submarine.
alpha. Any news on the golf cart? Yeah, I've put the golf cart on hiatus. Yeah. For all sorts of reasons. One, my wife didn't want it. So it'd be awkward having a golf cart in the garage where every time she took out the trash, because I make her. I don't. Okay, I take out the trash. That's my responsibility. But every time she goes in the garage, she'd get mad. So I didn't want anything in the garage that'd make her mad. I'm very good to my wife. You guys stop. Cool thing about her, she's always doing stuff. Like, I don't have to ask her to do anything.
Come right to 35.
Sounds a good woman right there. Take care of her man. She fix me a plate. Any word on the Connecticut coming back? No. Yeah, it's really scaring me. The lack of information coming out about the Connecticut is beginning to make me think they're going to decommission it. I know she's in refit right now, and so it wouldn't make any sense to decommission it, right? But there comes a point to where they're like, hey, we just got to get rid of this thing. It's too banged up. And it really comes down to the hull survey.
Passing 200
What they're doing, or this is probably already done, but they're going to take an X-ray machine that has an aperture about the size of this can. This part, very small. And it shoots X-rays.
Passing 300
Like you X-ray your bones, right at the hospital. And they're taking this little thing all over that hull, all the way from forward to aft. And they're just seeing how fucked up
Con
is the
sonar,
hull.
new contact.
Passing
And based on that, they're going to decide whether or not to keep it. And that process takes a long time, months. And then you have to evaluate it. That takes even longer. So that,
passing 500
ladies and gentlemen, is called radiography. And honestly, I don't know what they would say. Let's say they're going to keep the Connecticut. What announcements would they make right now? It's been a year since the collision. She's been in dry dock for like 10 months.
Passing
She's in
600
Bremerton dry dock right now. It's really, I shouldn't overstate this because it's really too early for them to make any statements at all. And they could return it to service without making any statements. So there is that avenue. But that collision was so high profile,
Passing 700 feet.
I can't imagine them not saying anything. Hell, we're giving away ballistic missile submarine locations now. Why not talk about the Connecticut a little bit? I think they know if they decommission that boat, there would be hell to pay. And I would be leading the charge on that. Because that is one of our most expensive and most capable submarines. The 3 Seawolves are amazing bits of kit. And if we lose one, that's a huge
Passing
blow.
900 feet.
They really need to figure out a way to save that thing. And hopefully they have. I mean, I'm really speculating here. I don't know. All right, so we're in a different depth stratum. He's shallow, we're deep. That's step 1. Let's get into his baffles.
1,000 feet.
Make turns for 10 knots.
Your suspicion is that they're going to cut it up. Oh, man, I hope you're not
Making
right.
turns for
Passing a weapon.
Hull going to get
100
cancer?
feet.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole radiography is a painstakingly slow and dangerous process. I've seen it done. It's not fun.
Sierra 5.
Passing 1,200 feet.
And having to do that for an entire submarine hull? Oh, that's going to take a long time.
Passing 1,300 feet.
All right, I think we're deep enough. He's cavitating. Let's level out and shoot him. We're in his baffles, so we want to level out here real quick. We're going to put our weapon on shallow mode. Okay, are we good? We're good.
Shoot
We're
2-1.
gonna shoot him real quick while he's running away from us. I don't know why he ran away. Maybe he heard us, but if he did, he didn't counterfire. He didn't go active, and he slowed back down again. So he sped up for a course change. That's all that was. Okay. We're still doing 10 knots. That's fine. Is there a new class in the works? Is there? Oh, the SSNX. Yeah. Okay. SSN experimental has been in development, for years now. And the earliest we're going to get any kind of information on that, well, I suppose they can give us information at any time. That's not the right way to put that. They're not going to be cutting steel on that until 2030 at the earliest. So we're going to be sticking with the Virginia class for a long time, which is fine. Virginia class is awesome. The problem is they just keep putting more missiles on her, which I kind of get. It's a really good missile hider. But at some point, you also need to have speed. At some point, you got to shoot a torpedo. At some point, you got to be a fast attack boat. What's the music playing in the background? That is White Bat Audio. Mr. Karl Casey. Karl with a K, Casey with a C. Has a YouTube page for streamers called White Bat Audio. And you can use his music for free, royalty-free, and copyright-free music. And he does all sorts of categories.
Fire control.
He published a holiday pack of songs for Halloween. I assume he's going to do one for Christmas, like Mariah Carey does every year. But he also has, this is more the electronic chill, which is what I like. But he has rock, classical, or instrumental. I keep calling it classical. It's instrumental music, like this is too. So, oh wow, he's really close. Oh shit. Why was our range wrong, sonar? Holy smokes. Oh boy, we got a little bit lucky on this one.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1. Last
I mean, it was a good shot. I'll take credit for it, but the range was jacked. Ooh, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Make turns for 3, 5 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Mariah Carey is Satan. Hey, she's a lovely lady. You leave Mariah Carey alone. Yeah. Let's see, a new class of ship is in the works. So yeah, you're right, Lunum Ghost. There is one in the works if you count designing and drawing up plans for it. That's the part they're in now. The song that was just playing is called Hackers. Is it really? I don't know the names of the songs. This is a big playlist that lasts like an hour. So I don't know. Just turn the rear 50% to an engine room. Oh yeah. Like the Navy loves our new strategy going forward, and this is not going to change as far as we know. So going forward into the future is to have as many VLS on as many different platforms as possible versus what we had before, what we called arsenal ships, which I don't think was ever really an official name, but it's what they did. Like Ticonderoga's job was not only to be a command and control ship with a great radar, but it was to carry around over 120 freaking weapons in a VLS. The SSGNs took up that charge in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And that's what they do now. They carry like 160 some, Tomahawks. That's a lot of freaking Tomahawks, Like one Alpha strike from a freaking SSGN, you could decimate a port, a capital, and an Air Force base all at once, The problem, and we're seeing this in the Ukraine theater, is these missiles, these subsonic cruise missiles are very easy to detect and shoot down with modern electronic warfare. So the Tomahawk is becoming less and less an option. They need to sort that out. Oh, there's this new thing. I saw a picture of it, so it must be public. But there is a technology they're adding to the SSGNs that will probably be added to other submarines, where they can, instead of launching Tomahawks, they launch undersea drones. The drone appears to be expendable, like it doesn't come back to the ship, but it's untethered, so it must communicate with the submarine somehow. And that's pretty cool. And so they're putting these drones in those VLS tubes on the submarines. And the one I saw looked really small, which means they could carry a lot of drones. So imagine your submarine swimming around looking for things, being surrounded by a network of undersea drones. I believe that technology is here already. I think we're employing it. That's not official. That's not been confirmed. But based on the photo that I saw that is public domain, that's what it looks like. My fucking doorbell's gonna ring. They're like, shut up about the drones. Okay, sorry, Daryl. I'll shut up about the drones. What are we doing? We're running from something. Oh yeah, the torpedoes. Yeah.
Come left to 260.
Run away.
LI.
One difference is it flies 100 feet where the caliber is 300. That's true, and that makes a big difference. The height of the attack.
Steady course.
Of the cruise height. Yep. I was really impressed when I learned about the Tomahawk in the 90s. Its terrain following ability was unprecedented. It was like something out of science fiction. Now it's commonplace. Everyone knows about it. But that was like super secret squirrel stuff when it came out. And it was submarine launch. We were like, we could stay submerged and shoot these things that skim, buildings essentially and mountain ranges, and it can navigate on its own autonomously for hundreds of miles and then blow something up with a 1,000-pound warhead. I was like, this is amazing. If I had said that statement in the 1990s, I'd be in trouble. But now it's common knowledge. Papa Submariner. Cherry Little Botten. How's it going, Cherry? Let's see. Captain Crush says, you heard that the first UUV drone swarms were taking over naval warfare? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, about the Ukraine using unmanned underwater or unmanned surface vehicles. You just said underwater, so it is a little bit different than what you said. I think UUVs will be the future. They're certainly going to augment manned platforms for this century. Who knows what the next century is going to be? I'm not going to be around for the next century, so I don't care. But for the rest of this century, unmanned vehicles will augment manned vehicles, whether it's in the air, surface, submerged. That's the reality we live in now. And I'm so glad to see that the United States Navy is taking that seriously. I know we make fun of, and I have too, made fun of our little sailboats that we call unmanned vehicles because there's nobody on it, that Iran keeps grabbing. They grabbed 2 of them in the past month. Yeah. Freaking Iran is so dumb. I tell you what, we need to put explosives on board those unmanned vehicles so that if Iran grabs one, we can blow it up. Hey, and if Iranian gets hurt, he gets hurt. It's on him for grabbing it. But yeah, they've grabbed 2 of our unmanned surface ships. I should explain. They grabbed one, threw a tow line around it, began towing it back to Bandar Abbas or some other naval base right there in the Straits of Hormuz. And we sent 2 freaking Arleigh Burkes after them. They were like, let go of our shit. We got that one back. Since that incident, they did get 2 more, and we didn't give a fuck. They essentially stole 2 of our ships. Granted, there were unmanned freaking sailboats that are on a kayak haul, right? But Iran is just like... they're a bully without the ability to be a bully, right? They're a bully in name only. Like, they don't have any capability, and yet we let them run all over us in the Straits of Hormuz and stuff like that. If I were making decisions to go and push back hard against any country, I would go to Iran first, because we could just push them down and be like, cut it out, behave. And we don't do that. I don't know why we don't do that. I mean, it's kind of not our fight, none of our business, but they're stealing our shit, But yeah, just put a CWIS on it. And see, that's the thing. I don't necessarily want anybody to get hurt, but at some point you gotta push back. Yeah. It's more trolling than bullying. Okay. Yeah. Because the loss of those 2 unmanned solar-powered kayaks is nothing. There's no technology on there that's not open market, that we know about. We assume the communication is not encrypted. Because obviously if it was encrypted, we'd be all up in that shit. We wouldn't be letting them take our sailboats. But we're also not going to dispatch 2 Arleigh Burkes every time they grab a sailboat. That's just a waste. Which is why we shouldn't have them there in the first place. That argument could go on for a long time. Okay, we're going to cut this out right now. And we're going to take a quick break. Come right back with some Master of Orion. So if you're here for the cold waters, thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. We're going to take 5 minutes and BRB. Be right back. Bye.